I'll concede your point just for brevity, but
What? Brevity? We don't do that around here. It's probably
No.
Citrus, or what is a Capital One Bowl? It used to be Citrus Bowl, right?
oh
Yeah,
my
Capital
God,
One.
dude, where have you been?
I just like the real name.
It hasn't been the Citrus Bowl since like what 2002?
What was your highlight side dish from Thanksgiving?
Oh gosh, Scotch.
This is the Buck Around, the podcast devoted to all things Wisconsin Badger football from a fan perspective. Featuring your hosts, Richard Branch and Maxwell Brusky.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Buck Around. Welcome back to episode 369 of the Buck Around. I am one half of the Buck Around, Richard Branch, and I am joined by I'm going to go with offsetting colleague,
Yeah,
Maxwell
definitely.
Brusky. Because, as I said to you, Max, people may not like me after today. The Prince of Darkness is back, but
It's a yin yang relationship we got over here. It's
So-
part of the magic.
yeah, we're 24 hours from Thanksgiving. I think I'm
Yeah.
covered in turkey juice. I brined a turkey this morning before we recorded. I think I'm
Mhm.
getting a cold.
Oh, don't get that cold. I had that happen on Tuesday. That's why that was one of the reasons I had to delay, because I'm like, I must go to bed. I got like my 9 hours of sleep. I'm fine now.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it was. I don't get sick very often. You know, I don't think I've been sick in at least 3 years. So
Oh, good for you.
yeah, so it couldn't happen this week. No.
Well, I am making every effort not to get a cold, but a cold just means it's going to make me sound even more nasally than I usually do. So what am I going to do? So shall we get into this game, Max?
As long as you've got your pluck for later today and tomorrow, you're
Well,
good.
I've got it for the next hour. How about that?
Now there we go. All right, that's good enough
That I
for
can
us.
promise. I can
Yeah,
only
I
go an
think we
hour at a
can.
time.
I think we can get rolling in light of that. You want to start off with some listener reactions as recorded?
Yeah, why don't we hit the talk around and then we'll start talking about this game.
Yeah, I think it's a great start because there's some yin yang in here for sure.
Robin Madison. Have to say, it's again another week with no VEST, ends up in a WIN.
Bill from Indianapolis.
You have Pancake Pete here.
Skin Lamp Nate here.
Hey, this is Paul from Nashville.
This is John of DC. This is John of DC. This is John of DC. Karma. Yes. So good. Karma. Yes.
I mean, this has to be one of the most satisfying wins the Badgers had in, I don't even know how long.
That was an awesome game. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Probably the most fun I've had watching a Badger game since the Iowa game in 2021, maybe.
Now, here's what I'm really curious about. The week leading up to Washington was the most embarrassing week as a Badger football fan that I can remember. But here's the thing. Did it work? I just wanted this team to play good football. Hard, your hair's on fire football. And they've done that in each week since.
Okay, not because it took a lump, because we kicked the shit feeling. Like, I feel so much better now. Like, oh my God, I was so nervous he was going to win. But nah.
It's great that we're on a 2-game winning streak with the possibility of beating our rival and ending the year on a 3-game winning streak. And I still have the profound feeling that this season was a giant kick to the nuts. I just don't know if this is actually building to something better.
I'm convinced that Carter Smith is not it. Karma. Goodbye.
Go Badgers.
Axe Week on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
On freaking Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like it.
A variety of reactions.
A variety of reactions, certainly. I'm with John in DC and the satisfying win people.
Okay.
I was there. It was freaking awesome.
I mean,
I'm not going to drop the F-bombs like those guys
Yeah.
did. I mean, but I mean, I did certainly on Saturday night.
I mean, I'm not saying don't enjoy the win. Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. He's right, man. I was trying to think. There certainly hasn't been a win like that in the Fickle era.
Well, what's the difference between this one and the Washington win?
That was just total domination, man. I mean, there were a lot of points scored.
It's 27 points scored.
Finally got to see a home run hit by a running back.
Mm-hmm. That's a big difference, I will say. Yeah.
Huge difference. So,
all right.
I mean, one of it's not in the talk around, but definitely that point was made by a caller for sure. Or it responded to that particular query there.
Yes.
Yeah. And no, they were both awesome. They both felt like taking a giant dump, but this one was a lot better. And you can, I'm not going to say I didn't really feel the Bielema thing as intensely as say John from DC did, but I know a lot of people did. Whatever, that didn't really add any extra juice to me, to be honest. It really didn't, and I don't know if it's because I've watched Illinois play the previous 2 games I've seen in person. It turned out being this is the 3rd time I saw both Wisconsin and Illinois is because they played each other this season. So I don't know, and I don't really. And as you know, like I don't have any issues with Bielema at all, especially not leaving Wisconsin. Everybody. I'm on the record many places on that one about it being a good move for him. So that didn't really add any juice to me. But I mean, come on, man, this thing was great.
Yeah, I gotta say, like to your point there, no, like to everybody, like to John and everybody else, gotta let go of karma. Like let it go. Seriously, like that was a decade ago.
It was more than a decade ago. It was 12 years ago.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah.
Like okay. I mean, so many people are screaming, like, let the woman be. Just let her be. Like, who cares? Just nobody cares. Like, we got to be grown-ups now. Like, we got to move on, folks. We really, really do.
You can still be a fan.
You can be a fan, and like that doesn't do anything for the win. So we got to just let it go. Number one, there is no juice. Like Bielema is 2 stops removed at this point. I mean, he spent half a decade in the NFL. Like there's a lot of runway between that time and now. So just leave it alone. But it's funny. My unpopular reaction to this is all 3 of these games were the same. They really were. And the difference in this game versus Indiana is you did not have a high-level, highly prolific passer who could just slice you to pieces.
Yeah, for sure.
And you didn't have the turnovers on offense like you did against it. You had fumbles, you had the picks. You didn't have those in this game.
Right.
And then compared to the Washington game, what you did have that you didn't have really in the Washington game is you had turnovers by the other team. I mean, you had the turnover on the punt. It gives you a short field. And the other part is the explosive play. Because do you know what? So the team averaged 4.8 yards per carry in that game, which I think I'd have to go back and check the first 2 games, but it's definitely the highest since conference play because it was always like 3.1, 3.2.
Yep.
You know what it is if you take out Dupree's 84-yard carry?
3.1.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's right in the neighborhood.
It was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And, you look at it like what was different? You had the explosive play. I would say Carter Smith was incrementally better because they let him throw a little bit more. He was 9 for 11 this time versus 3 for 12. And
9 for 11 is like, that's a classic Badger quarterback stat line.
No, please don't say that. No, this is not my thing. No. This is not the mid 90s. Like you can't keep looking for that. And the people who are salivating,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's a classic. It is if you look at the numbers.
But people keep reverting to like, 16 plays, 80 yards. That's Badger football. And it's like, no, it's not. That's not. I mean, and even Fickle, who really doesn't articulate much in terms of the offensive vision, has made it clear that no, that's not the vision. It needs explosives.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So yes, and he's right. Like this day and age, you cannot run 16 play drives and sustain. So yes, they got 1, but I mean, they did the same thing with Washington, and you're like, okay, but you need more points. You need more than 13. You got, I keep forgetting, is it 24, 27 on this one with the help of a short field. You got some things break your way. Like, you had Tretch fumble the ball on the first possession, and that one, snakes back, or Carter Smith gets lit, and somehow, I still don't know how he came up with that ball. I mean, when James Thompson came up with it, I'm not understanding how they kept it with Wisconsin, but they clearly saw something and nobody seemed to be arguing about it. So they got the call right.
Well, there's also I'm gonna just talk about Bielema again. the first thing that you talk about that offense, like he learned you can't do that at Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Like you just can't. And the second thing is like Illinois didn't play well.
No, they
either.
didn't.
Like, Illinois played really badly. Now, obviously the Badgers had a lot to do with that, especially in terms of that pass rush. And I think again, I've seen Illinois play a couple times, and this isn't. I think the last maybe two for sure, maybe 3 seasons of Illinois, it was a better team overall in terms of
Mhm.
talent. Illinois' defense is not what it has been the last 3 years, and their offensive line is not as good as it has been the last 3 years as well. But either way, they didn't play well at all.
No.
So I think to just go back to your overall question, you haven't seen Wisconsin, beat a team in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah.
You just haven't seen that,
But I mean, like,
And
this-
and I'm not going to go to the verboten word that Fickley used in the conference in his in the post game presser, but because it is still on the verboten list here.
you can use
But-
it. It just doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm not gonna. It's verboten. No, I'm not doing it. But either way, though, there hasn't been a time where they've literally won all 3 phases of a football game. Not the Fickle era.
Not really.
No, I guess maybe
against the minor
the run of
teams.
Northwestern, Rutgers, Purdue, or however, I don't remember the order last year, but you know what I mean. And none of those games really felt like satisfying. It's just like
Yeah.
this did.
Well, this was a better team. It was a traditional Big Ten opponent. I mean, Northwestern is, but like one that you think
Yes.
of as not being like a slop game.
Yeah,
say like
right.
Northwestern is.
Right.
But yeah, I guess a lot of the game came down to like I kept going, what is Illinois doing? Like when Tretch got the 3rd and 14,
Seriously,
basically,
yeah.
I'm like, what? Like he's not throwing the ball downfield. There is zero chance they're letting him throw the ball at the end zone. Why isn't somebody like they didn't have anything underneath there? And you're like, I don't get it. I guess they thought they just try to get there with pressure, but
Well, so here's a funny one for you. Okay, is I have a couple good Illinois friends now, not excluding my wife, who, by the way, was worried before the game started. she was worried before the game started. We were there, and I don't know. I didn't post it or anything, but we're talking about with other people, and I sent a picture of her, and she's just like,
I know. You sent me that picture.
I did
And
send you the
I
picture,
told her
yeah.
not to worry. They're going to win 24-10. And
You
I was
did.
a little off.
It was really funny because 20 minutes later, the score was indeed 24-10, but it's just the other way. So one of my friends, though, he's like, I don't think Aaron Henry is a very good defensive coordinator at all. That's a long time Illinois guy. Dad's a season ticket holder, kind of person like that. And I kind of thought about it for a minute, and I was thinking, I never knew how that would work. And it's kind of funny since Walters left, that defense now it hasn't had the same level of. It's kind of the talent level on that defense has gone down as
Yeah.
well. But the defense itself, the Illinois defense was really not good this year.
So I have a question for you as someone who's watched a lot of Illinois football about two people. Obviously, they're familiar faces. Was James Thompson as good as you think of James Thompson was? Like, he wasn't a superstar, but he was a nice, solid defensive lineman with the Badgers, right?
Yeah.
Has he been that at Illinois? Like, I
Yeah.
saw him in that game. He looked solid.
Yeah. He's the same guy that he was when he was at Wisconsin.
Now, what about Kurt Neal?
I saw him most on the sideline, and I haven't counted snaps, but in the 2 games that I saw in Champaign, I saw more of Kurt Neal on the sideline than on the field.
Yeah, I mean, he only played 29, although James Thompson only played 36.
Yeah.
But I just was curious because I felt like I didn't see Kurt Neal have much of an impact in that game. And I just was
and
curious.
He might have played more of this past game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in the games that I saw in Champaign, and and he kind of stood out on the sidelines for me, especially the second one against Maryland. And again, different off. They're playing a different offense, whatever the case may be. But I saw Neal much more on the sideline than And you know what else too is I've listened to quite a few Illinois games. In addition to that, I never noticed Leon Lowry making any plays. If I was listening to the radio call every now and again, he'd be in on a tackle or get a tackle or something like that. But he hasn't been anything much more than he was at Wisconsin.
Shocking.
Yeah.
That one. I
So,
honestly,
so just to finish the set there.
yeah, I totally forgot he was there too. And you
Yeah.
know what? I haven't thought about him since he left.
Yeah. So
Sure, he's a
neither
nice
did
guy,
I.
but
Yeah, until Brian Barnhart said his name. And
yeah.
I forgot what game it was. This was like a month and a half ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, Leon Leary went there too. Yeah, same thing.
16 snaps. I do not remember seeing him once. So interesting stuff. Yeah, no, it's just kind of fascinating. I was just curious what, if it was like, oh, there's something, they missed there with those guys, but it doesn't.
No,
really
I think they
sound
were
like
the
it.
same guys they were at Wisconsin.
That's kind of what I mean. Like James
Yeah,
Thompson,
they didn't like get anything more out of them or
Yes.
anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. No.
I mean, it would be nice to have James Thompson because he's a good football player. But the
Right.
other two were kind of,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think we worked through them in the order, I think, of their value.
Yeah, we
But,
did. And I think, at least from the Wisconsin perspective, they were effectively replaced. All of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
All of them.
Nobody there was missed.
No.
But a little on the Badgers, I will say this: things that I saw, like I mentioned, Carter Smith, they are incrementally putting more things on his plate. It's
Yeah.
obvious he's still not. I mean, they pulled him. They still don't trust him to throw down the field. I wonder if that will be the case against Minnesota.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself too. And because the weather is supposed to be, worse than Washington.
Oh, that's
right? 'Cause
great.
It's supposed to be cold and snow. And I'm trying to think of which guy do you want there? And
Oh, Carter Smith.
I'm sure Carter Smith will be starting and going for it, but I wonder what role, if any, Hunter Simmons will have in that kind of situation. I don't know.
Because I mean that's good for them. It really is good for them if it's a snowy game because they have to play that way anyways. So
yeah,
they want the game
favorable for
boxed
sure.
in. It helps. They did let him throw a little bit. There were actual progressions in spots. Still a lot of pretty simple high-low reads, and he ignored the high read.
Yeah.
Just went, which is
I
fine.
think
Take
Colton
it.
had a pretty good line too about that. Like once he goes back and looks at the film, he's gonna be he'll learn a little bit. Or
Yeah.
something like that. I paraphrased it wrong, but the gist of it was once he sees the film and sees what he missed, he'll be more effective in the future potentially. Right?
Theoretically, I
Like,
mean,
he missed a lot.
he did, but you know what? He didn't put the ball in danger. I think is the better way to look at it. To me,
No, and I gotta say, I really kind of like the way he plays. I mean,
he's a moxie player, which is kind of fun.
yeah, well, he's got some athletic ability, and he's a young guy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Carter Smith in a year, next year will be interesting. Carter Smith in 2 years will be interesting. I don't know, what all that holds, and I don't know if they're gonna go out and try and buy somebody.
Oh, they're
like
gonna try
Sam
and get a
Levitt or
body.
something like that, and more power to them if they do. I mean,
I'm
I'm in the fan club.
I stand by I kind of make no judgments. Like it's nice. He seems to be learning. That's a positive sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe the next thing he could learn is not to run out of bounds 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and throw the ball away.
Right.
There's little things like that, but like
Yes.
that never killed them, even though he was taking
It
those
did not.
negative plays. But other than that, the defense, it's really interesting to me because I'm still trying to parse this. When you listen, Fickle was asking the post game, like, well, why is this happening all of a sudden? What have you guys figured out? What have you tweaked? And aside from snap counts and just figuring out that, like, it's Riger and, you've got Cheeks in there. And I guess technically he's sort of in their mix because they're pulling them for him, like Peterson. Like they figured out who their best players are, and they're not marching Tyrese Fearbry out there really anymore, and he keeps getting personal fouls.
Yeah, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he got another one on the kick.
He did get another one, yeah.
It's kind of like he can't really articulate what they're doing. And it's like, what did you figure out? And he's like, well, it's a lot of like competitive spirit, and I'll use the words like complimentary football talk. And you're like, this doesn't. It kind of makes me feel like you don't know what to say. And I don't know what to make of that. I mean, like, I know Chris used to just give us mouthfuls of marbly gibberish, but like if you really listen close, you could interpret things. Like, but I feel like with Fickle, either it's just a way to stonewall and not answer anything, or whatever it is, but it's kind of making me insane because I don't really know. Like, it's all going to restart, and they have a defense that works, but I can't tell you that it's a product of a system or a mode of attack. Like it doesn't, like, Corey Walker this week was all of a sudden the read guy on the zone reads. Like he was the uncovered end and he was getting beaten up. And you're like, well, why is he doing that? He's 300 pounds. Put the linebacker on that. And it's kind of like, okay, but why did that happen? And then they kind of covered it up and they patched it up later, so it wasn't there for Illinois anymore. But it was kind of a funky, like every week sort of feels like it's being reinvented to me, and I just don't know if they have something that I feel that's super sustainable that way, if that makes
Well,
sense.
it only needs to be sustainable for another game, I guess.
No, but I'm looking past this. Like,
Yeah, no.
people are
I
reading
get
into
that.
this. Well, vote of confidence 2-1. Maybe they go 3-1 if they can beat Minnesota. And it's like, well, I don't know if I've seen, like, I have too many questions still. Like the problem I'm really struggling with is they all of a sudden decided, well, Billy Edwards isn't coming back, so we're fully committing to an offense that's built around Carter Smith's strengths. And I'm kind of like, why wasn't that happening with Danny O'Neil before? And it was like, well, that was before we shut him down. And it's like, well, didn't you think he was kind of like, I think everybody in the planet knew he was shut down after
Well,
I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not trying to I'm not trying to second guess because that's lame, but I'm more just trying to like I just kind of feel like everything is still kind of super reactive.
Sure. I get that. Yeah, I don't I think it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. So
yes, I think that's pretty reasonable.
I kind of don't really have any more thoughts on the game other than like my whole summation is this was the Washington and Indiana game with just the sliders for opponent execution and turnover luck, moved in the Badgers' favor. So like
Sure.
they played they have figured out like we got to play this game in a box and off they go and hopefully it works out, and it just worked out really well to me in this situation. But I didn't know
But
if you
it
had
was so
anything else
much
you wanted to
fun.
touch. Oh, again, not taking that away. I'm just saying enjoy it, but don't like everyone's like, oh, well, they're just playing, a new football and this is old. Like I saw somebody say like they're getting back to Badger football roots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is just
I would have looked at them askance as well.
that was the face you made was very askance, by the way.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
perfect askance face. But did you want anything else on the game before we hit under the radar?
No, not really.
All right, you were very excited. That was the first thing you pinged me with this morning. I have an under the radar player of the game, and I
Well,
wanna hear
yeah,
who it is.
it's not because a lot of times I'm trying to come up with one. And this season has been very difficult to
Yeah.
do that. No, it was Tucker Ashcraft. He's totally under the radar.
Yeah, he really wasn't talked about. I didn't even notice he was in the game
No.
until I'm like, who's 11?
Yeah. Well, that number change really didn't help either. I mean, he's always been 11 this season,
No.
but I think I either heard his name or I looked down and I saw 11 on the field and I'm like, wow. But then again, there's he was in on the long run. There were things like that. And he he was definitely under the radar. And especially for being the number one tight end to go into the season, it was big when they lost him. How much things would have changed had he been here the whole time, but it's yet another one of those things when you say you're on the fourth string running back or the first string quarterback, blah, 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 blah. But yet another one of those injuries, and here he is back, and it wasn't really, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I was looking for the injury report in a tweet prior to the game, and I never found it. So I would have known that he would have been back had I seen the injury report, or I would have noticed him not being on the injury report. But it was cool to see. So, and he was definitely under the radar.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I'm so excited about it, because I actually have a true, really under the radar player who contributed to the success of the team.
So mine, you can call this one a cop out. I have sort of one and then another one I don't know how to shoehorn in. So I'm going to give you both. Mine, I think, is more like how Ron Dane won the Heisman as a senior and it wasn't even his best year, but it was sort of like a
lifetime achievement Heisman. Yeah.
I'm going to give a lifetime achievement under the radar player of the game to Charlie Jarvis, just because anyone who pays attention to Badger football knows Charlie Jarvis's name, and it's just from like 4 special teams plays over his career. And that dude, granted, I know that was a muffed punt. He didn't cause it, but he was full motor in there, and he has had plays on punt return before. And Charlie Jarvis got them that football that ended the game, and that was a really fun play. And he lit the punter up, which is always fun.
Oh,
I mean,
that's totally lit the punter up. Man.
That's not really an objective measure, but it was fun. But so
that was on the side of the field I was on too.
Oh, so you saw it up close and personal.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So Charlie Jarvis,
different seats that I usually am. It wasn't South End Zone.
Yeah.
Shout out to friend Carl. But
I know.
yeah, so I mean it was a little bit different perspective, but that was on the side of the field I was on, and the place exploded. Put it
Yeah.
that way. Which, that was another thing too. It was nice to be there for those kind of explosive plays like that.
So Charlie Jarvis gets it. Again, I'm kind of stretching the definition there, but I'm going to do it. I would give it to Eugene
that's
Hilton,
okay.
but everybody noticed the Eugene Hilton turn. And
So it was funny. The guys, one of the guy, like out of the people around us, one of the guys said that right away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, no, I didn't see that. What are you talking about? He's like trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, okay. And then I saw like this replay, the tweet that kind of went viral with it.
yeah.
It still took me a while to see what the hell he did. Then when I finally saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
He's a very interesting player because when you're watching it on the broadcast, you couldn't see that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
as Dupree's breaking it, you're like, wait a minute, like there's not enough players on the field. Like the way the play broke, you're like,
It looked like that, yeah, right.
'cause they
yeah,
were
it looked
out of
like
the
that
shot.
live in person too. Yeah,
yeah. You're like, this looks like 9-on-9 football or something.
yeah.
And Ballard, the other guy had gone with Ballard as well. But Ballard, I think, transitioned into a block. Again, that was all out of frame, but it was whatever. That was a great play. I do think it's notable. I guess I can sort of, he only played 14 snaps, but it felt like twice that.
That's almost under the radar too, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's under the radar. It's like maybe the opposite of that, but outsized impact. That
Yes,
felt like he was
outsized
there
impact.
all the time.
Yeah.
But actually not.
He's gonna be. I don't see how, as long as they keep him around, how he's not just basically. He and Brooks, I guess, are gonna be your primary wide receivers. I just don't see how it's not.
Yeah, I thought Brooks was out of eligibility.
No, I think
Is
he's got
that?
one more.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I heard that. I don't know what I was listening to, or what I saw, but that kind of surprised me.
But so my other one, which is the real one I wanted to talk about, is kind of a weird one, and it's not a player. Jeff Grimes has done a really remarkable job, and even in 3 weeks, I know people are going to be like, "Well, and I'm like, no, this man has run a gadget offense. Like this whole offense is gadgets. Like it is Inspector Gadget. Like things are popping out of the hat.
Yeah.
It's all that stuff, and it's very, very. It's been an impressive job. Like it is interesting, like why they didn't fully commit an offense to the backups. Again, we talked about that.
I know.
Neither here nor there. But what they've done in the last 3 weeks to sort of cobble together something has been remarkable, because he basically throws the bag out that first drive to try to get them a little bit of a lead, just to give them something to build off of, because you're going to have a lull in the middle. But the way he went against like that whole drive was against tendencies. It was just like one counter play after another. And it was impressive. So I will say Jeff Grimes, to me, has been one of the more impressive. Like this has been one of the most impressive stretches for a member of a coaching staff on this team. Definitely in the Fickle era and in a while, especially given what he's got, because he's not working with a lot. So you have Davis Heinsohn at center who can't block. He can snap, so he's your backup center. I mean, there are so many limitations on this offense. And they're finding a way to at least, like, they got almost 60 plays out of this offense in the game. That's impressive. I think they had 59, which I'll give them a kudos on. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of what it was when I tweeted it. It says, I don't know about this Grimes guy.
Yeah.
I want to say I think that was against Ohio State. So, I'm happy to go back on that, because I think you're 100% correct, and it has been pretty impressive to see, and the way the offense has looked, it has been much more effective.
Yeah.
These last 3 games too. So
and then the only other thing I kind of want to talk about, I guess, before we go, that isn't related to the game and isn't related to Minnesota. We've had this vote of confidence, right? They're going to steady the ship and ride this out. I think there were 2 parts to that, right? To get fans to stop asking if they were going to fire Fickle, and the sort of uncertainty, and then to solidify your recruiting class.
Right, which too I've
looks like it's failing.
Made my thoughts known on that.
And so the big concern I have right now, I think, as a Badger fan, like if you think about Fickle, like how is Fickle being measured? And it's one thing, and it's what he does next year. And so this recruiting class doesn't really matter to him in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Because he has to win next year. It is such a back burner thing. And I'm just, he lost 2 offensive linemen, the only offensive lineman in the class. And you're setting yourself up for another situation where the offensive lineman dogbo, if you can't backfill the way they did this year with all the young guys, because they were basically the only older guys were dead weight. They just weren't playing or they were hurt. And I sit here and I say, like, we can pat ourselves on the back that they can grind out Illinois wins and Washington wins and maybe a Minnesota win, which, yes, is progress in a sense. But, like, is there going to be a sustainable build out, right? Because I feel like for Fickell, he's still hasn't weaned off the transfer portal. He's going to have to do it again. I mean, they're going to have to reload the line in the portal because they haven't brought in defensive linemen in any number. And they're going to have to do it on, how many offensive linemen do you think they bring in?
In the portal?
Yeah.
At least 2. The Brunner thing is kind of interesting.
It's even weirder when I watched the press, the media availability from yesterday, from Monday, excuse me.
Yeah.
And it sounded almost as if, it definitely sounded like Fickell didn't know what it meant, but just sort of said, like, Brunner told him to trust him. I'm like, what does that mean?
I thought the whole thing was very weird.
I don't know if that means if he's like testing NFL waters, which I don't really get. I'll be dead honest. He's a funny guy. Like, I can't tell if he's like a very serviceable guard on a line that was just a mess, or if he's just kind of replacement level. I really don't know what to make of him there, because he was next to Malman for most of the season, and I felt like neither of them looked especially fantastic.
No.
But again, I don't know if this is just a function of that line being chaos and a mess. But
I don't know. I expected more out of both of them. And I know Malman's out of position, but I don't know. I expected a lot more, and I think everybody did. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But either way, to go back to the question, it might depend on what they want to do with him or what he wants to do in terms of coming back.
Yeah, because
whether it's 2 or 3. But here's the problem though, is that the issue was if somebody went down, they had to go with a really young player.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if they want to, if you can portal yourself out of that out of that. And I say that because are you getting starters or are you getting replacement players?
That's the question.
Or are you getting projects? And, it was clear, like they had projects this year.
Well, I think that was
or last too. You got like a Leighton Nelson or Joey Okla or people like that no impact at all.
Well, I think Joey Okla was clearly brought in as we need to fill out a scout team in effect.
Yeah,
I don't think they had any, because I noticed they played him one snap, I think on the kneel down, just so he could go say he played in a Badger
Illinois.
game. Yeah.
Well, against Illinois too.
But as also like he hadn't played he hasn't seen the field.
No. Well, that's what I mean. Is it going to be a bunch of people like that again? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess if there's a increased financial commitment.
Well, it always comes
maybe
down
they
to,
are able to buy better players. I don't know.
Like, are they ready to ride with Emerson Mandel again? Are they ready to ride with Colin Cubberly? Like, I don't know what their thinking is going to be in terms of
those guys have gotten better.
I agreed, but it's the same thing with the core. Like, so has Carter Smith, but I don't think they're ready to ride with Carter Smith. Right. So again, it comes back to me like the focus is going to be so much on next year, and they're not gonna because of the situation you're in, are you just dealing with a guy who's always trying to keep his head above water 1 year at a time? And it creates a funky dynamic because I don't see that there's a ton of effort and energy. I know they threw out a bunch of offers, and you're basically creating a recruiting class in my mind that feels a lot like a transitional coach recruiting class. Like, yeah, okay, if you hold on to Latimer and you hold on to that Pettit guy, okay. I do feel like it's becoming, what happens, we've seen now 3 coaches, 3 coaching changes. And what are those recruiting classes like? They tend to not help you because they're last minute fill-ins, the guys you pick up in December, you get a couple guys to come with you. And those classes don't end up being particularly impactful. this class is starting to feel like that because it's effectively going to be the same thing because they're going to backfill with MAC guys that they can poach, right? Or an in-state kid, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's fine and dandy, but that's just what would have happened if you had a coaching change. So like, you're not really preventing that, it feels like to me. So again, Prince of Darkness has got more to complain about, but we'll see.
Well, some of the answers we'll know in a couple weeks. What is it? Today's Wednesday. That's a week from today. I shouldn't say a couple weeks. It's a week from today.
Is it a week from today? Yeah.
Yeah. It's December 3rd. Yeah.
So excited. It's so funny to me how much less I pay attention to recruiting now than I used to. And it's not because I don't like, it's not like, oh, it's so gross. Because I paid attention before when it was just as dumb when you were trying to read tea leaves about 16-year-olds. But I mean, I understood that it was important.
18-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, no, but when they're committing, they were 16. And
I thought you going into the signing period. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
But I mean, like, but then it was like, okay, because this kid's going to come in and he's going to be here for 3 years. And it would be nice for me to know, as I'm looking at this team, what he's doing, what his progression is, what's happening, and understand the backstory of them. Whereas now I feel like, well, 2/3 of them are going to be irrelevant. And I can just find out about them if they're still here after they're freshmen. Like I'll read the signing day stuff, but I don't pay attention to the recruiting race anymore at all. I really don't, other than what headlines I see.
Right.
And it's just because it's diluted importance.
Well, the crazy part of that is if you're even in the, the high rollers in high school recruiting, whether it's Ohio State or Michigan or, or any of the, the SEC teams or Southern Cal, right? I mean, any of those, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so many of those kids, even the 4s and the 5 stars, they're never, I'm going to use the word matriculate, which is kind of on point, not necessarily, but the ratio of ones that commit or sign out of high school that wind up going there or staying there at a particular school in a particular program, okay, it's like that across the board. The funny part of it is too is that you have the transfer portal and there's still like plenty of people. Like I can think of like I don't know why Walter Nolan pops into my head, but he was a 5-star recruit out of high school and he was at A&M and then went to, was it Ole Miss, I think? I don't remember, but
okay.
But I think of people like that because so many of these kids that are going to commit to a big program, they're going to wind up transferring from LSU to Georgia, or something like that, or they're still going to wind up being good players. They just won't be a good player for the same team that they started off with.
And it's very weird. Yes.
It's kind of it's changed. It's changed.
And it was Ole Miss, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what I thought. But you know what I mean? Because even the like that, the really splash high school signing, most of them don't wind up staying at the same place.
Yes, I mean, or at least a high percentage of them, right?
Yeah. Or I think of like Florida. Like Florida is like loaded with talent, but it's whoever they wind up getting to coach their team, whether or not they'll keep those guys, I don't know. But they're all good coming out of high school, and they're all going to be good somewhere else. Or if they don't stay, they'll all still be good just somewhere else.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know. I'll be very curious to see. I know we're getting a week ahead of things, but where the portal ends up with this team, and yeah, it's gonna be funny. I'm just gonna curious to see how they approach the roster construction in the offseason again. But we can get to that after.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Do you think they'll win this Saturday?
I mean, I think it'll be the same game again, which is really hard to predict. Like, I know what they can do. I think of any team, I think this is probably the weakest team on the schedule, right? I mean, I'm not super impressed with this Minnesota
I wouldn't
team.
I wouldn't disagree with that. They had the game won last week.
And they're just kind of funny.
They haven't won a road game. I mean, I know they're not on the road, but they haven't won a road game. And they got destroyed by the Oregons and the Ohio States. I mean, you look at the scores and the Badgers actually played better. The score was closer against Ohio State and Oregon than they were.
I mean, I would say, like, I think if you probably controlled for the schedule, they're pretty close to each other, right? I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, they lost to Cal. I always think of like, what's their best win?
Cal, who fired their coach, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, Wilcox is out. I mean, it's like I look at
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did lose to Cal.
what's their. I don't even know what their best win is. I guess it's Rutgers.
The Nebraska one, which was at home on
Oh, yeah,
Friday night, and
Nebraska.
they like clobbered them. Damn it, I did want to say something because I was listening to the old Bill King show before we started, and they were talking about Matt Rule and year 3, and dude, Nebraska's not that good.
I mean, they're functional.
No, I know, but going into this and how the way that it's all worked out with Fickle versus Matt Rule and blah blah blah, and Nebraska's gotten their asses kicked in a couple games this year,
Mhm.
and like how much improvement is there? I know they lost Briola, but nevertheless, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
mean,
thought it was fascinating.
If
But
they finish
that would be
7-5 on a backup
that would be
quarterback.
Minnesota's best win, and Nebraska was ranked when they played. Whatever, take it
Yeah.
what it's worth. I don't know. I feel really sure about this game.
You feel
believe it or not.
sure? Okay.
I do. Yeah, I do.
I mean, I guess
I do.
my certainty is I
Gerald
think
Peterson like turned into Chris Borland all of a sudden.
I mean, I good for Daryl Peterson, but
Absolutely.
I don't want to.
It's just crazy though.
I mean, they've figured out that their defense is built around the pass rush. I mean, and that's what they've got. And then
Yeah.
sit back and like don't blitz. Just you can rush those 4 guys and then put enough
And
guys back in
Minnesota's
coverage.
line is about like Illinois too.
Yeah, so maybe they can find their way to get home there.
I think so. Yeah.
It would be a fun way to end. You know what?
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think of Fickle, it would be a nice thing for him if he won the axe at the end of this thing. Like it would do a lot in terms of goodwill. It doesn't really
100%.
move the needle for me, but I think for a lot of fans, people who are more casually engaged,
Mhm.
this would be a nice like way to end the year. Got to stop talking about how to get in a bowl at 5-7.
No.
I don't have a
That'd be kinda
problem with
cool, I guess, but Minnesota did it one year. But
But the crazy
hey,
thing is,
whatever.
like it's going to be all the portal stuff. I mean, remember we saw that with the Badgers
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
under Christ
Yeah.
when they went to what was that bowl they went to, and Chase Wolf was the quarterback.
It was either the one in Vegas or the one in Arizona, one of the two.
I think it was in Arizona. I don't know, but it
I
was.
think so.
It was weird.
All I know is that was the one that I watched in Florida that started at 10:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yes.
I
know
fell
that.
asleep during it. I think. Like I
So
think I did fall asleep.
I'm gonna cap this off with one thing about that too, is that damn it, does that Maryland game loom freaking large now? Because it's 6-6, at least you would qualify for a bowl, no question about it. And you could say we made a bowl game and blah, after all of this, you know what I mean? That game does loom large.
Well, here's actually, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Pretend for a moment they win, right? And they are 5-7. Last year, they were 5-7.
Yeah.
The schedule is a hell of a lot harder. Does that mean that there's improvement? And you can see the face. I am askance, to use the word.
Yeah,
again.
you are askance. I would say this though. They ended last year, they were 5-2 and then lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. This year it was as bad as it was, even worse during before November. But when you're winning games in November, that's and if you finish the season this awful season at with 3-1 in the month of November, and the game that you lost, you were that was competitive for the first half, certainly against a really good team, and what, the third top 5 team that you had played to that point.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely a positive note to go out on.
Okay. Yeah, I think
so.
we're kind of more or less in the same. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say we're in the same spot. I can't tell you.
No.
Like finishing strong, I get it. I don't know if there's going to be so much roster turnover that carries over.
Yes,
That's the hard part.
It's a cliche, but it's very true. It'll be a big off season.
Yeah. All right, Max. On that note, I think I have to go.
You gotta go?
I gotta start making stuffing. And more importantly, my wife needs this office because she's working from home today and is.
Ooh,
I can feel the
right.
dagger eyes through the wall, even though I can't see her.
I know you got 4 minutes.
All right.
I know those dagger eyes.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
And
to,
yeah,
to all.
and everyone, next week we'll come back with our highlight side dishes as well.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
All right.
Until the next time, Max.
Till the next time.
Enjoy the conversation? Head on over to buckaroundpodcast.com to find all the ways to connect with the show, links to our Patreon page, and feeds for every major podcasting platform. We want to thank each and every one of our patrons. You make this podcast possible. This has been The Buck Around, Badger football analysis from a fan perspective.